Welcome to the Point 101. I'm your host, Gail, and today we're diving deep into a topic that touches the heart of every parent and guardian: God's promises for our children. Join me. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching from. It is Sledge here, Sledge. And I am going to go ahead and read a little bit of positive discipline because I have something planned for the rest of the week. Okay, so I have to fit this in where I can. Okay, and so we are going to go ahead and read a little bit. And this topic is back talk and disrespect. And we know we've all been there, done that, and we knew who the consequences, and it was not pretty. But again, as I said, we must learn different ways to parent. Okay, that backhand should not be used anymore. We are going to learn how to avoid some of the mistakes, some of those generational curses that was handed down to us. Okay, no more backhand, no more cussing out. We're going to move away from that. Okay, we really are. We will learn today different ways. Okay, so I asked my daughter to pick up her shoes. She replied, "Why don't you? You're the mother." I couldn't believe it. Why would she be so disrespectful? Even more important, what should I do about it? I can't just let her get away with that, but the more I punish her, the worse it gets. Now, how many of us been there, done that? Like, man, if I say this or if I say that, the child gets worse. And then, the next thing you know, what's coming to our mind? Pop, 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 all this screaming and yelling, and when it's all said and done. What did you get done? What did you achieve? So let's learn how to navigate through that little period right there where you turn around and you're getting flipped from the lips, a lot of feedback, pushback, everything back, everything except what you are looking for, which is to get what you ask done and then the respect that you deserve. So I'm just going to look in here. Let me just log in just so I can see at least if any comments comes up, then I can read it. But we're going to go right through this, okay? Now, understanding your child, yourself, and the situation. There are many reasons for backtalk and disrespectful behavior. Sometimes children are simply testing their power, especially during the preteens and teen years. That is right around the time that backtalk. No, let me not say that. I've seen them as young as 4 do it. Now, on the other hand, it could be that they feel that they have been treated disrespectfully, perhaps by parents who make demands or give orders, and are fighting back. Children might talk back to get a reaction or may simply be having a bad day. Another possibility is that they have not been taught. They have not been taught by example or otherwise. Respectful communication and interactions. Now, here are some suggestions, okay? In a calm, respectful voice, tell your child, if I have ever spoken to you that way, I apologize. I don't want to hurt you or be hurt by you. Can we start over? A lot of people don't believe that you should be doing this, but it's making sense. Count to 10 or take some other form of positive timeout so you don't backtalk in reaction. Avoid comebacks such as, "You can't talk to me that way, young lady." She's telling us to avoid that. Use the backtalk as information. It could tell you that something is amiss and deal with it. No, and deal with it after you have both calmed down. Look for places where you have been turning issues into power struggles with your child. The fourth one. Instead of focusing on the disrespect, focus on the feelings. Say something like, "You are obviously very upset right now. I know it upsets me when you talk to me that way. Let's both take some time out to calm down. We can talk later when we feel better. I'd like to hear what you are upset about." See, some people may look at this and say, you know, I'm not negotiating. But in the long run, if this tip help you communicate better with your child, then negotiate. Don't use punishment to get control. And this is something that we all do. We use punishment as a mean of gaining control of the situation. And where does that get us? In a power struggle. See, a lot of this could be avoided. A lot of this can be avoided if we just try something new and not, "Oh yeah, if I spoke to my mother this way," or the next thing you know, the verbal abuse start. And from the verbal abuse, it turns into physical abuse. And that is a no-win situation for anyone. Because like I said, the child feels neglected. You feel like, really, you should feel like crap after you finish doing and saying all the things that you would normally say to a child, because in the end, the child is the child and you are the adult. And a lot of times, where does that lead us though? We have, who is it, CPS, ACS, POS, whoever the S at the door. Because now we are so angry because we never found other ways to just deflect, reflect from the situation, on the situation. And the next thing we know, we're snatching that child up using corporal punishment, and the law is at your door. So, do not use punishment to get control. When you have both calmed down, you can work on a respectful solution that works for both of you. Share your feelings. "I feel very hurt when you talk to me that way. Later, I want to talk to you about another way you could tell me what you want or how you feel." Or you could say, "Whoa, I wonder if I did something to hurt your feelings, because that certainly hurt mine." It's opening that line of communication, and it's opening that line of respect. And we need to move away from, "Because I'm the parent, I told you so, and you do as I do." I mean, you do as I say and not as I do. And when I tell you to do something, I don't care how you feel, just get it done. And a lot of times, negotiating will get that situation handled. Really, it will. And it should. But inflicting corporal punishment and verbal abuse should never be the way. Because what we have to remember is, what we teach indoors is what they take outdoors. Okay? So, don't respond to demands. Decide what you will do instead of what you want to make her do. One possibility is to simply walk away. Instead of trying to control her behavior, control your own. Calmly leave the room without saying a word. If your child follows, go for a walk or get into a shower. After a cooling off period, ask, are you ready to talk with me now? And you know what I think that is so important, that as parents, we really do, we truly, truly need that cooling off period, because we're so conditioned to believe. She said no. That's so disrespectful. You need to go upside her head. You need to put her on punishment. Don't give her dinner for a day. You know what I mean? Because that is what's been handed down to us generation after generation after generation. But we need to find a different way. So if you feel yourself getting frustrated and you feel like, oh my God, I just want to grab this child, yeah, go for a walk. Walk out that room before you do something or say something that you will later regret. Because the longer you stand there, probably insulting, and you know our topic this week is bullying. Again, sometimes we're doing the bullying and don't realize it because we don't call it bullying, we call it disciplining. And how we react to them is how they will react to others outside. So again, it makes sense to me. This is most effective if you let your child know in advance what you will do. When you talk disrespectfully to me, I will leave the room until we both feel better and can communicate with love and respect. So you're teaching patience, you're teaching respect, you're teaching kindness, you're teaching obedience without having to use physical or verbal abuse. Now, use a sense of humor. Say, I must have heard that wrong. I'm pretty sure you were meaning to say, Mom, would you mind me picking up my shoes because I'm too lazy to do it myself right now? If you are not too upset by hugging your child, sometimes children are not ready to accept a hug at this time. Other times, a hug changes the atmosphere for both you to one of love and respect. Now, planning ahead to prevent future problems. Be willing to take a look at how you might be teaching the very thing you harbor in your child by being disrespectful to her. See, we spoke about that. We spoke about that. Sometimes it's us. And our children are mimicking our very behavior. And some people look at it and say, oh no, that's your mini me. Y'all looking like you're acting like you talk alike. So, planning ahead for future problems. Have you created an atmosphere of power struggle by being too controlling or too permissive? Make sure you do not. You set the child up by making disrespectful demands instead of giving orders. Create routines together during family meetings. Instead of saying, pick up your shoes, ask, what about your shoes? You will be surprised how much more inviting it is to ask than to tell. Once you have both calmed down, let her know you love her and would like to work on a respectful solution to what happened. Take responsibility for your part and work on a solution together. Parenting does not come with a handbook, and everything you do is not always the right way. Now, apologize if you have been disrespectful. I can see that I was disrespectful when I demanded that you pick up your shoes. How can I ask you to be respectful when I am not? It's not a do as I say and not as I do. I do what you say and I do what you do because you're a parent and you're teaching me. And if you say that that power trip is okay, then I'm saying it's okay for me to inflict the same situation onto others. Let her know that you can't make her be respectful, but that you will work on being respectful yourself. I'm telling you, we will learn together. Have regular family meetings so family members can learn respectful ways of communicating and focusing on solutions. Just as I said, if your child is the bully and you have to have that conversation with your child about bullying, and there are other siblings in that house, then it needs to be a family meeting on what is unacceptable. Yeah. So, life skills children can learn. Children can learn that their parents are willing to take responsibility for their part in an interaction. They can learn that back talk isn't effective, but that they will have another chance to work on respectful communication. And there goes giving another chance. Because if you give your child a chance to make a correction, if someone outdoors, outside of your home, does something, then your child is more likely to give them a second chance as well. Now, parenting pointers. Many parents want to set limits and tighten control to teach their children that they can't get away with misbehaving. This makes matters worse and does not teach respectful communications. This is a good time to act instead of react. It is very tempting to get revenge by punishing when your children hurt your feelings. This models disrespect, trying to teach respect. Remember to see mistakes as an opportunity to learn for both of you. Now, this one, the bath time hassles. Bath time is a nightmare at our place. My youngest screams if I want to wash her hair, and my 10-year-old refuses to take a bath or a shower unless I bodily drag him to the bathroom. We know we've all been there, done that. And some know. They learn early. They have learned early. Now, whether they have learned through screaming, yelling, punishment, or through spankings, they've learned. But let's see how we should handle that, okay? Understanding your child, yourself, and the situation. Many young children resist bathing. Then, after they get into the tub, they often resist getting out of the tub. That is so true. When they become teens, they usually they make up for the lost time, sometimes showering several times a day. Infants no longer need to be bathed daily to prevent diaper rash because wipes are so effective. You and your doctor can decide how often is best. However, at a certain age, most young children don't want to bathe at all. The more you try to force them, the worse it gets. Fortunately, they won't die from the dirt while you learn skills for avoiding bath time power struggles. Let's see what they say here, because no one wants a dirty child. No, no. And you cannot walk around the house stinking. Let's see what they say. Young children love having a routine, especially when they have helped make a routine chart. Involvement increases cooperation. Both time is part of the bedtime routine chart. So the bath is part of the routine chart. Now, hassles for instructions on creating routine chart. Now, this is not a choice to bathe, but that can help choose the days and the time. This allows them to share the power and increase the possibility of cooperation. I just truly believe that. Um, I don't know about this one. Choosing the time, choosing the days and the times to take a bath. Um, I'm kind of like on the fence about that one, saying that you get to make up the day and the times that you bathe. Hmm. And tell you a lot of what I read, some I would agree with, and some I disagree. Telling the child that you get to pick the day and the time that you bathe. Um, I'm just not one that believe that, uh, unless they're real, real small, that you can skip a bath. Hmm. Now, when it is time for their bath, firmly but kindly remind them of their agreement and give them a choice. Would you like, would they like you to turn off all distractions such as television, video games, and computers so that they want to do it? Okay, I can see that. It may help to give them an egg timer to set 10 minutes before bath time again so they can share the power and the control. I can see that. Okay. Um, Check out the cuddly stuffed animals with timers in their bellies. Okay, so there's little stuffed animals with timers in their bellies, and I am assuming that this is for 6 and under because I just can't see a 7, 9, and 10-year old given this type of hassle or attitude towards washing. Let children who never want to get out of the tub decide. Using limited choices in the bath should be 15 or 20 minutes long. So they want to set the timer, or should you? Okay, and now I can see that because to me, from my experience, when you leave them in there too long anyway, their skin starts to wrinkle. Now, planning ahead to prevent future problems. Make bath time fun. Let the kids have special toys they can use only in the tub. Anything that squirts or pours water is usually a lot of fun. Plan enough time so children can play in the tub. Sit in the bathroom with young children to make sure they are safe. Young children enjoy bathing with their parents. When your child expresses his first need for privacy, it is time to allow him to bathe alone. I agree with that. Do not insist on him coming into the bath or shower with you. And at a certain age, you really do need to stop that. Let children wash your hair and then wash theirs. Use care to keep soap out of their eyes and use shampoos that don't stain. Some children do better if you wash their hair over the sink or in the shower and let the bath be a place to play. Now, life skills children can learn. Children can learn good hygiene and respect for others. They can discover that a routine can be fun and that their self care doesn't have to be self torture. Children can also learn that they have a right to privacy and that the adults will respect that. And I truly believe the moment that your child starts to cover up or say that I can bathe myself, and which is normally around 5 years old, which is normally around 5. But again, you still must check on them. Now, parenting pointers. If bath time is a drag because you are trying to rush the kids off to bed, think about making this a special time of day instead of a chore. Now, 2 generations ago, most people bathe once a week on Saturday nights to be civilized for church on Sunday. In much of the world, bathing more than once a week is a luxury. Encouraging children to bathe when necessary, but be flexible with necessary in order to encourage their cooperation. Kids often appreciate cleanliness more than they have experienced a serious lack of it. And I want to say right there, that's true. A lot of places, a lot of countries, like you don't even have running water. You don't even have that option. Now, bedtime hassles. Our kids drive us crazy every night. I have to make a mental note of this too. When I read last week, I made sure to bring some of the ideas that I read to the attention of my niece for her children. And so the bedtime hassles is another one. So I must read this so that if there's any mental notes, I can jot it down and give it to her. Now, our kids drive us, as it sounds just like her. Our kids drive us crazy every night. They know it's time for bed, but they want another drink of water, one more story, the light on, the shades down, then the shades up. They keep us busy for an hour making extra trips to the bathroom and then scream like crazy when we finally refuse to come in their room one more time. The last straw happened the other night when our 8-year-old cried because he couldn't stay up as late as our 10-year-old. So, understanding your child, yourself, and the situation. There isn't a kid anywhere who doesn't try to extend bedtime at least once in a while, wanting to belong and be a part of actions in a human need. Serious bedtime problems, however, are most often created by parents who engage in power struggles. Yeah. The more you involve children in the creation of routine, the more they experience organization and order. It's important for children to have input, but not to run the family. Parents who let kids work like they train circus animals on night at night are clearly letting the kids call the shots. And I think a lot of times that's the mistake that's being made. Now let's look at the suggestions. What do they suggest that you do? First one, be available during bedtime routines, which shouldn't take more than 20 to 30 minutes. Instead of trying to do 10 other things, one reason children seek more attention is that they haven't received a good dose of your full attention. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Because I think that's a lot of problems. That is the majority of the problem. I think that's on top of the list. A lot of times they haven't received a good dose of your full attention. Once you once you have given them your undivided attention, at least 20 to 30 minutes of bedtime routine, stick to the allotted time for the routine. Your children know when you say what you mean and when you mean what you say. They know when there is no room for argument and when there is none. They know. A lot of times, oh my goodness, they can see it in your face. They can see when you, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm tired now. I'm tired. What do you want me to do?" That's when they take the reins and they start controlling you. That's when that one more cup of water, one more story. I have to go to the bathroom. Because guess what? The moment you just give in and go lay down, you wake up the next day or you wake up hours later, look like a tornado went through there. So after your child is in bed and you have concluded the bedtime routine, do not lie with your child until she falls asleep. It says not to. Once it is officially bedtime, it's time for you to get out of the room. Refuse to play the power struggle game. If she leaves her room, gently take her by the hand and kindly and firmly, without talking, return her to her room. Because guess what? And this makes a lot of sense. I'll tell you, I was a victim of this. um, because the moment you start a conversation, right, they're going to engage with you. And then now you're going back and forth. But this makes a lot of sense. Silence. You know what? I'm not going to say anything. Take them by the hand. No, get back in that bed. Get right back in that bed. No matter what they ask you, no matter what they say, ignore them. Ah, this is some good information. Now, don't explain or talk about what is supposed to happen next. Your child already knows. They already know. Action speaks louder than words. And don't leave room for argument. You hear that? You may need to repeat this action several times before children learn that you mean what you say and you will follow through with kind and firm action. Problem solved. You get out the bed, I walk you back to the bed. You get out the bed, you're talking to me, I'm not responding, but here you go, back in the bed. And it's all about patience at this point. Like, I don't know why you keep getting out the bed. You see, I'm not talking to you and I'm taking you back to the bed. Now, children belong in their own rooms, in their own beds. If they come to your bed in the middle of the night, take them gently and quietly back to their bed, give them a kiss, and walk back to your room. Do this as many times as you need to until your child knows that your bed is your bed. And I want to say, back in the day, and I'm not going to lie, I was one of those parents that it was fine for my kids to get in the bed. As a matter of fact, I can remember early on that I would actually take my daughter out of her bed when she was asleep and lay her in the bed with me. Yes, I was one of those clingy parents. So for them to come in my bed, it meant nothing. It meant nothing to me. So, yeah. Sometimes what they say, you need to cut that apron string, you need to cut the cord. Yeah, that was a struggle with me. If your children have developed the habit of manipulation, it may take 3 to 5 nights of kindness and firmness, returning them to their beds without words. 3 to 5 nights. And so what is this telling you? Be prepared, especially with that stubborn child. Don't assume one night that, okay, get in bed and that is it. But you must have the patience of Job. Well, every night if I have to walk you back to your bed without saying a word, and you come and tell me, I don't know, then I'm kind of weak there. I'm kind of weak there. So I guess it works if you want it to work, but a lot of us, for some reason, we just don't mind it. But the ones that want their own beds, be prepared. 3 to 5 nights of kindness and firmness, returning them to their beds without words. Before they learn that they can trust you to mean what you say, children feel more secure with parents who are kind and firm than with parents who can be manipulated or who are too firm without being kind. And again, as said before, a lot of times right now, we're working 2, 3 jobs to make ends meet. And sometimes during the end of the day, at the end of the day, we are so beat. You're cooking, you're getting that child ready for bed, then you have to get yourself ready. And so if you are in a 2-parent home, then you should take turns. If you both have to work, take turns. If you are a housewife, do the needful, get up and go take that child back to bed. Now, if you have been engaging in power struggles or allowing your children to manipulate you, sit down and tell them and admit your mistake. Admit your mistake. Tell them that you have allowed them to form some bedtime habits that aren't good for them or for you, and being upfront and being honest. I think to me, like it's okay to have this here conversation with a 2-year old, because the younger you explain this to them than to me, then they are more able to adapt to what it is that you're trying to teach and what you're trying to say, that whatever you're trying to convey to them, they start to get it. But if you start doing this at 5 and 6, you let it go too far. You let it go on for too long. This is a good time to start teaching them that mistakes are wonderful opportunities to learn. So now you can learn together on how to solve the problem. Some parents put locks on the outside of their children's door to keep them in their rooms. This is dangerous and disrespectful. I just never recall. It must be some new thing. And, sometime when I'm reading my social media, I will read that when officers got to, the homes, that it was padlocks on the door. Now, this is dangerous and disrespectful. Keep taking your child back to her room. If you remain kind and firm, it probably won't require more than 10 to 20 trips. Sounds like a lot of trips. Remember that weaning has never been easy for the weaner nor the weanee, but it is necessary for both to reach independence. Now, planning ahead to prevent future problems. Involve children in creating bedtime routine charts. Each child can have his or her own. Let them help you make a list of all the things that need to be done before they go to bed: bath, pajamas, brushing teeth, picking up toys, homework, choice of clothes for the next day, go to the bathroom, story time, hugs, kisses. Using limited choices, let them help you figure out how much time is needed and what time they need to start to complete everything on time. Do they want to start at 7 o'clock or 7:05? Do they need one more minute for getting into their PJs, or would they like two? Small kids love having a picture of them doing each task posted on the routine chart. The chart can be posted on the doors of their rooms. That to me kind of makes sense. We start at 7 o'clock, and then you have to be in bed by 7:30. Start at 7:30 means you have to be in the bed by 8. Now, what is the time to begin the routine? When is the time? Tell the kids it's time for bed instead of making demands. Go brush your teeth, put on your pajamas, etc. Ask, what is first on your bedtime routine? Makes a lot of sense. Some kids love, especially if they decorated a chart with cute little hearts and stars, and who knows what their favorite toy is, and then they're going there. It's a way to get it started. Some people may think, oh, that's just going the extra mile. That's a little too much. Do a little too much now, and you'll thank yourself later. Okay? Now, they love telling you, and they feel empowered instead of engaging in power struggles. Some kids find it helpful to play beat the clock at bedtime. Set a timer for the agreed upon time and let the kids scamper around getting everything done before the timer goes off. You might want to use one of the Cuddy stuffed animals with a timer in its belly that can be found at, okay, they give you a website. Well, let me just give it to you: Positive Discipline. .com. And I have no affiliation. I'm just reading the book, okay? Now, let the kids know that you'll be available for story time 10 minutes before bedtime. If they have completed their task, there will be time for a story. If they haven't, there is time for a tickle and a kiss, but the story has to wait until the next day. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense there. So I am going to stop right here. Again, we are speaking of positive discipline, changing the way we do things, changing the way we create their routine by having them help create the routine, having patience with them, alleviating that power struggle. And that is what we must do. It will help in the long run. You just have to be patient. Okay. So it is Gail with To The Point 101. Let's talk about it. And he first loved us. And that right there is the reading for positive discipline, talking back, bedtime. We've covered it. We covered a lot here. So I will see you all soon. Again, do not forget to subscribe to the channel so that when I come live, that you may get the notification. Feel free to join me. I did not put the WhatsApp number or anything in there tonight because I'm just trying to just move a little bit ahead so that I can stay on task for the rest of the week with our discussion on bullying. I will see you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening, your morning, or afternoon.